Hey there, everybody. This is Beyond the Beach, Career Conversations with graduates of Cal State Long Beach. I'm your host, Kenji Klein, Associate Professor of Management at the College of Business at California State University, Long Beach, where I teach business strategy, general management, and organization theory. In this show, I interview former students and recent graduates about life after Long Beach. Our conversations cover topics like how my guests chose a career path, how they landed their first job, and what it's been like to navigate the chaos, challenges, and opportunities of their early careers. My hope is that you will find their experiences useful and inspiring in helping you chart your path beyond the beach. My guest today is Gestoni Garcia. Gestoni was a student in my business strategy class back in 2017 and now works as a regional learning manager at Amazon. Hey, Gestoni, it's really great to have you here today.
Good morning, Professor. Yes, my name is Gestoni. I graduated 2017. I am an area manager for Amazon and partly a musician. And yes, I would love to share my story. I'm looking forward to this, and I hope that I would be able to share some inspirational methods that I use in order for me to survive out here. So
yeah, and I'm really excited to talk about the music stuff too, because this little conversation that we had, it sounds really, really interesting. So when you were a student here, what was your concentration like? What was your focus?
Marketing.
So you were a marketing student,
Yes.
okay. And then when you graduated, did you start working in marketing, or tell me about that? What was your first job and how did you land it and what was it?
So my first job was actually, I was a supervisor for UPS right before I graduated. I was at your class. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is I used my marketing strategy in order for me to sell what my people needs to get done at that day. So pretty much I use my PowerPoints, my basic stuff that our professors are teaching us at a school, right. And pretty much try to communicate that to my people, the importance of this and the whys, right. The 5 whys right. on your class. I use that a lot. And I communicate that way to my people, and it seems like they're more productive, right. and it's more impactful, and they feel more part of the team.
Yeah, so that's interesting, right? Yeah. Because it's like your major was marketing, and so most people, when they think of marketing, they're like, oh, a marketing function in the company, and I'm going to be marketing to the customer, the end customer, right? But actually, internal marketing is really important, yes. right? How you are reaching the people that work in the company is probably, I would say, just important, or even sometimes even more important than the external customers, right?
Yes.
So
it's still mass communication. If I may, 90 or even 50 people in one place to manage is right. You need some sort of internal marketing to sell your vision, if I may.
That's right. That's really interesting. But the work you were doing then was supervisor at UPS.
Yes.
And that obviously is, to me, when I hear UPS, I'm thinking operations, yes. that type of stuff.
That was difficult. I really need to be a marketer at that point because, Professor, I was a dispatcher. Okay. I was not in direct supervision of them. Like I can just walk to them and tell them, hey, this is what you're doing right now, and right. this is what you need to do. There's no direct coaching.
I see.
It's more on the laptop, right. texting them,
right.
and even so, you need to be strategic with your communication because your people are driving outside.
Yeah.
So the marketing strategy of when to get the communication down, lunchtime,
yeah,
right? Like things that we take for granted in classes. Sometimes I would remember it and then, I can use that. Why would I tell my people to slow down right now? Well, I know everyone is busy. Wait before they go break.
Right. So you're thinking about those things.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Okay. And then how long did you stay at UPS?
I stayed there for a year and a half.
Okay.
And then after that, Amazon knocked on my door and got a better offer. And
so they knocked on your door. So like somebody came by, dropped off a package, knocked on the door.
Actually, there was a recruiter from the military division of Amazon, and they're like, we were looking for young veterans that were might be interested who just recently graduated.
I see.
If you want to get into it, I'm like, yes, go ahead. Sign me up, please.
Yeah. So two things. So you were a veteran?
Yes.
And so you were a veteran before you were in school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then how did they approach you? Did they send you an email? Was it through like a LinkedIn page, or was it a cold call out of nowhere?
Oh
I mean,
yes,
how did that
it's
happen?
through an email.
Okay.
It'll be through an email, and then they, I think, work with your local VAs at your schools.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're using your GI Bill, make sure that your name is out there. There are programs out there that you just need to talk to your counselors, your VA counselors. So basic. Go there and tell them that I'm interested on these fields. If there's anything, right, your email stuff, check your spam. Be on
Okay.
it. If you're something interested on it, be proactive. That's it.
Okay. So basically, so for veterans who are in
sir.
school and they're using, particularly if they're using the funding that they get for having served, right, to pay for their education. But I'm assuming even if they weren't using that particular funding, they can contact like the local
Yes.
VA that works in the education area
Yes.
and just say, hey, keep me active on some kind of list in case anybody is looking to
Exactly.
hire veterans.
Yes, sir. Even though if you're not using your GI Bill, be proactive on reaching out.
Okay.
Always reach out, and just for me, it was just consistency, sir. Like
Yeah.
15 minutes of my time, I go to the VA's office.
Right.
Hey, is there anything?
Okay.
Then good, done. 15 minutes done every day.
I see.
And that's cool. And then just consistency on the email. 15 minutes of my day. Done.
Okay.
If there's
So
nothing,
basically,
there's nothing.
you kept your name in front
Yes.
of the VA's
Yes.
thing. So when someone came around saying, "Hey, we're looking for veterans,"
Yes.
they would be like, "Oh, we have somebody that's worth
Yes, sir.
contacting," and so they reached out to you.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
So they reached out to you, and then you interviewed with them, and then you were hired as
An area manager.
this area manager.
Yes, an
Okay.
area manager, sir. And then
And that was like what 2019 or so, or
that was, hold on, it was 2018.
18, okay.
2018, January 2018. Because
Okay.
I graduated in 2017 with us. And then 6 months after, I left UPS.
Okay.
And then I went to, yes,
went to
there you
Amazon.
go.
All right. So tell me a little bit about that first job at Amazon. Like, what was it like making the transition to say UPS to Amazon? What did you find challenging? What was it? What were you doing? What was interesting? What wasn't interesting?
So for me, the transition is mainly on switching from unionized to non-unionized
Okay.
kind of environment.
Right.
So now I need to be more open to my people in Amazon.
Right.
On the other hand, in UPS, I was more direct.
Right.
Because I have a shop steward that can tell me that you're going too far or you're going. So that's the thing about being on the unionized. Now I'm not unionized. I can be more open. I
Right.
can be more open to my guys, and I can be more of a coach. That's
Right.
what I like. So to answer your question, that transition took some time.
Yeah.
For me because my management style was more direct and
Right.
more on scientific
Yeah.
management because
Sure.
I have a referee over here.
Right.
Now I don't have a referee. Now I need to be more.
So that's
Yes.
I've never heard anyone say that before, and I find that really interesting. Because what you're saying is that when it was unionized, you could be a little bit more bossy,
Yes.
right? But when it
Yes.
wasn't unionized, you had to be more careful.
Yes.
Which is interesting because a lot of times people think, oh, because there's a union, I have to be super careful.
Yes.
But in reality, it's like, no, the union is there, and so they can act as a referee, so I can be bossy, and if I step over the line, they'll tell me, and then I'll
Yes.
know, okay, I need to step back. Whereas when you don't have a union, I mean, I suppose if you're an obnoxious person in a
Yes.
non-union place could be really terrible and
Yes.
stuff and get away with it.
Mhm.
But if you're conscientious, then it means when you don't have a union, you've actually got to think really carefully about how far is too far, how much can I
Yes.
push, or maybe I need to cultivate a different type of relationship with my
Yes.
people.
Exactly. Because, Professor, if I may, I didn't see the union as a manager,
Right.
as a business manager. I didn't see the union as a someone that I should work against. They are someone that I
Right.
should use for feedback.
Yep.
So, hey, my guy is saying that their boots are like this out there.
Yeah.
Hey, my guys are saying that the tires on the trucks are kind of like faded away and all
Right.
that. That takes away of my time every day to audit the trucks. That
Right.
takes away time on my day
Yeah.
to to know what my people
What's
need.
going on with their boots or all those things.
What do they need out
That's
there?
that's really smart, right?
And then I'll be like, okay, so what else do they need? Here I am writing the emails, taking the orders. Okay, cool, boom.
Right.
And then I send someone, go and audit it. Boom. All right, approved, done. All right, in 2 days, what you need will be there. And then all I know, I have a happy crew.
So that's really interesting, and so, I have really good friends from my undergraduate days who are union organizers, and for them, this is kind of what they say. There's one of the things they say is, look, people can manage themselves, and this is kind of what we're trying to accomplish. And so what we need is we're hoping that management will respect the workers' insights into what's going on, and then together we can create a really good workplace, right?
Sure. But as a leader, if I may, there's a lot of things going on to you as a manager. When you go out there, if I may, there will be 90 things or 110 things going on your table, right?
Yeah.
So things like that get lost. For managers out there, I know you guys have done it. Like you wrote it down, put it in your pocket, and that shirt got washed and dry, and that note is gone, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said, when they're saying something, email it.
Yeah.
Email it to yourself, email it to someone, or email it directly to your boss. Or what is this? And your boss asks you, oh, that is a barrier. That is a barrier out there that may cause us a bottleneck in the operation. So, there you go.
You take care of it. The workers are happy. It's no longer something you have to worry about, and it actually helps them do their job better, which is what you guys ultimately want.
And yes, use them as a partner, the shop steward.
Right.
And if you are delivering a feedback to a driver, make sure that shop steward is right next to you.
Right.
Because that's like what I said. That will be your referee.
Right.
And work towards on being collaborative instead of working against that.
Yeah, conflictual. Yeah. So that's really great. I hope the management of Cal State Long Beach is listening to, actually the whole CSU is listening to this, because our union is in a little bit of tension with the management right now. And part of it is that management does not listen to our union. They see them as a nuisance. So.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, please.
So thank you for that.
Feedback is always good for a business.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's what you guys taught me. Feedback is always there. That's why we have 5 whys.
Right. You're trying to get information so you can make better decisions.
Yes, sir.
So so that's great. But at Amazon you didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And so then you had to sort of develop alternate strategies for having the information you need and having the relationships be good and getting the work done together.
Microsoft Excel. For those of you out there right now, Microsoft Excel. At that point, I needed to be more organized.
Yeah.
I needed to be more on, because now, if I may, I have a method on identifying what is a behavioral feedback. Right. And what are the needs of my guys, or what is operational, or what is cultural.
Right.
Just like what we define in school.
Yeah.
And you need to be those things that we talked about in class, and sometimes that we drool on it, but
right.
When it's time for you to remember, you'll be like, oh dang, we talk about this, like the bottlenecks and all that, weighted average. Oh yeah, some people are not this good, but some of my people are good, and some of my people are really good. So I needed to weighted average this so I can understand what actually I can do for today.
Right.
So now, how do I do weighted average again?
Right.
I've been there, and I was just like, man, I wish I paid attention more in class.
So first I have to say, I did not pay him to talk about weighted averages. For all the students in my Management 300 class who are like, I insist that you understand weighted averages, I did not pay him to say that. He said it purely on his own.
Yes, know that right now, at the back of your head, because, yes, you need to understand that, because that is one key thing to understand what your people needs.
Yeah.
Because weighted average they're not that good. Right? Most of them just got trained. Right. You got a learning curve 1, if I may. Mm-hmm. Then you got a learning curve right in the middle, and then the learning curves, and then the experts.
Right.
So
you have to know how much can I expect from each of those different groups. Exactly. So you got to weight them differently.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though they all have 8 hours in the day or whatever it is, but how do you weight the hours?
Because your boss will be like, you have this amount of people.
Yeah.
And you should have done this.
Right.
And they are accounting for 90 or 80% of capacity per period. But that's not a reality. That's not reality, because you had lunchtime.
Right.
You need to count that, because at the end of the day, you need to show that you plan.
Yeah.
You need to show you plan. Nope, this is not what we can do, boss. This is what we can do.
Right. So if you have that information, you could tell your boss that expectation isn't reasonable, and then the boss hopefully will listen and be like, okay, we need to adjust.
And it shows that you understand your business.
Yeah.
So
And then the other thing I wanted to comment on is, I think out of however many interviews I've done, pretty much 90% of the people I've talked to have said Excel, right? It's just like, yeah, I just wish I had a better mastery of Excel when I started because
yes,
it's a lot of what I do. Yeah. So that's really interesting.
Excel.
And so then, so you've been working at Amazon ever since,
Yes, sir.
and then you said recently now you're no longer area manager, right?
Mhm.
So now I believe regional learning
So
manager, right?
that'll be a good story right now. So it transitioned to regional learning manager when I went to Chicago.
Okay.
And then recently, I transitioned back to being an area manager. So kind
see.
of like I wanted to go back to the floor, if I may,
Okay.
and understand the business again. Yeah, so it was just an interesting ride for me.
So let me see. So when you first got to Amazon, you stayed local. You were in Southern California
Oh, yes, when I
Okay.
started. Yeah,
for about how long?
I stayed here for 3 years.
Okay.
3 years with them. 3 years with them.
And then how did the move happen to Chicago, and how did the move to the learning manager job happen?
So the regional learning manager opened up,
Right.
and I jumped on it because
Okay.
it's a chance for me to get to the level sevens and,
Yeah.
if I may, the higher levels of leadership.
Yeah.
So I jumped on it, and when I went through it, it just, I think it's not the best way for me right now.
Right.
I want to be on the floor,
Okay.
and it's really something that I chose.
Yeah.
I was given a chance to go back to the floor in Chicago, but I chose to go back to California
Right.
because I saw a lot of opportunities, and I tried to chase it.
Okay. So
sir.
the promotion to the regional learning manager was a job specifically that was in Chicago, and so from there you moved to Chicago to take that position.
Yes, sir.
You found that position was not actually what you really enjoyed
Yes,
doing,
yes.
so you decided to go back to being area manager. So can you tell me a little bit about like what were the differences between the two jobs, and why did you feel? Do you feel like area manager is much more satisfying for you than the regional learning manager? And part of the reason I'm asking that is because I'm sure there will be people, who are in their careers who are thinking of taking those kind of jumps. And maybe they need to do it anyway because they need to learn from their own experience. But it might also be useful to hear from someone who's been through it. Like, what's the reason why this thing was more satisfying than that thing?
So it became more on a transition of me focusing on myself at that time.
Okay.
And the workload on being a regional
Right.
is the big leagues.
Yeah.
It's the big leagues. If I may, you are partly a head that cannot be, you're always 24/7.
Right.
You need to be 24/7. You would need to be on your phone, and I understood the demand,
Right.
demand of the position.
Right.
And at some point of my life, I just wanted to focus on myself.
Yeah.
And
This could be an Amazon thing, like that
Yes.
level of intensity, right? So I've had a couple of students, I think I mentioned this earlier in a different episode, where a couple of students who work for Amazon, and one of them was saying, I guess he was saying, at least where he works, there's a joke in Amazon where they say, like, every year, it's like dog years. Every year in Amazon, it's like 7 years,
Yes. Yeah, yes. I got the 5 years now. I got the 5 years now, sir. So
Yeah.
if I may. But
he's just like, it just every year you feel like you're doing 7 years worth of work because you're just so busy.
I mean, it does feel like it. It does feel like it. But then, if for me to work, it's to work, sir. I
Yeah.
focus on daily,
Right.
on my daily task, and just be consistent. And
Right.
I don't allow anything as a leader. I know that anything that I can control, I cannot control.
Right.
And
But is an area manager job one in which you do your shift, and for the most part, when you go home, you can kind of leave it behind you, or do you have to take it? Okay.
Yes, you can leave it behind you. So
Right.
if I may, you need to be, as an operator, you need to be there 110%,
Yep.
110%, and then leave it all behind you.
Yeah. But in the regional learning
You
manager
need to
job,
be on.
so you
need to be
can't
on.
take you take it
Yes.
home with you, and you're on
Yeah,
it. all the time.
I mean, I was on virtual. I
Yeah,
was on
sure.
virtual, sir. So
Right.
it's like you wake up, you're in your office. So
Yeah.
at some point, the boundaries kind of like, yes, people might say that working virtual is good, and you're at your home.
Yeah.
But at some point, that boundary is just, where is it?
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
where is it? Because
Right.
now you have your whiteboard all set up, and then
Oh, in your
now-
home, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
now you cannot bring people in
Yeah.
because you have this set up. Like, oh my God, like.
Right, like if someone were accidentally leaning against that whiteboard and erased something, like one of your friends came
like,
over,
what are you
like-
doing right now?
right. Yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I
so-
get it. I mean, to some extent, yeah, it's really interesting. So, you know, my wife is an RN, and so she does her shift. She goes home, and she doesn't have to think about it when she's done. And I'm thinking about my work all the time, right? Because some of it is classroom and stuff. The other is research, right? So I'm constantly, right? So even though I have a lot of freedom in my time, I spend a lot of my time
And-
like working through stuff in my head. I'm always
If I
kinda
may
on.
say, I'm an operator. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
So
I'm
you
an
like it.
operator. I'm an operator. I cannot speak for everyone because being an operator is not. Oh, I'm an operator.
Right.
I like it. Like finding the problem, finding
Yeah.
the bottleneck, and then try to fix it
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then
So that sort of problem solving,
Yes.
thinking things through, and making things better, and
Yeah,
improving
the equipment,
processes, and
like,
getting stuff done.
I like it.
Being able to be like check.
I like- The green marks on the Excel file.
Yeah.
Like you putting the green marks
Yeah.
on. I got that done.
Yeah.
I got that done. Yes.
Yeah.
That is fun for me. And then organizing my labor board and all
Right.
that. That is. I'm
Yeah.
an operator. I'm sorry. I need to go to the floor and
Right.
help them lift boxes.
Yeah.
Help them lift the vans.
Yeah.
Help them. I'm an operator.
I mean, the thing is, I think that's really important for people to understand about themselves. It's like
Yes.
what type of work, right, really, works for you, right?
Yes.
Which ones do you feel alive doing
Yes.
versus what kind of work makes you feel dead, right?
Yes. And there's nothing against about being virtual. I did virtual.
Right.
And it is productive. It is productive. But if I may, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I needed to be out there on
Yeah.
the floor right now, and I needed to be on the floor.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yeah, that's good. No, but that's really great. So it's just another thing for people to think about. It's just like
It's
it's important to sort of listen to who you are, and when you do different jobs, think about, okay, what about this is satisfying? What isn't satisfying? Does this work for me? And then try to track something that really works for you.
And if I may, I would go home sometimes
Yeah.
with. Sometimes it seems like an impossible plan, but when my team nailed it,
Right.
and I'm like, dude, how did we do it?
Right.
And then I'm like, close my laptop. I'm like, dude, all right, hopefully we can do it again tomorrow.
Right.
And that is a satisfying feeling.
Right,
That
right,
is a satisfying feeling.
Right.
So-
Like you stuck the landing perfectly.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
oh, it seemed impossible, but we
Yes.
got it. That's cool.
That's okay.
That's really cool. And so how long ago did that happen? Did you come back?
It's been 6. It's only been 4 months.
Okay, all right.
So my title is still regional. That's
So
why.
that's
That's why I
why-
answered you properly. Can you answer you properly?
okay.
That is still mine.
That's still
Yeah.
your official title.
Yeah. So it will transition soon. So. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so was the move back to LA at all difficult or?
Oh no! It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Chicago is cold.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I cannot. I cannot. Oh my God. It was cold. But the thing about it is, I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I kind of liked it. The snow.
Right.
Snow. I kind of liked it. But at some point it got too much.
Yeah.
It got too much.
So let me ask you a question, just before we go back, before we go on, a little bit more about that move to Chicago and that regional manager position. You applied for it. Do you have any insight into why you think they selected you versus someone else?
Oh, so for me, it's my experience already. It was my experience.
Okay.
I've been with the company for, if I may, 3 years at that point.
Right.
I've been in the facilities
Yeah.
where we pack them, and
Yeah.
I've been where we deliver them.
Right.
So I've been around the business for quite some time. So
Yeah.
I guess at
But
that
presumably there were a bunch of other people who also had been working at Amazon for a long
Yes.
time who also applied for that position. So I'm just kind of curious.
So I focus more on the feedback. So
Okay.
the feedback at that point for me, in order for me to move up, is to be more impactful
Right.
on, if I may, in a more mass.
Uh-huh.
So the regional function would
Right.
help me develop as a leader. So I
Right.
took that feedback, and in my interview,
Right.
I made sure that I have that.
Okay.
That's my feedback.
Got
and
it.
then after that, and actually when I went back to them, it's like, you want this feedback? You're taking this seriously? Here you go.
Okay.
When I got to that position,
Right.
you're taking this feedback seriously? Here you go.
Right.
Do it.
Got it. So for you, part of it was you were really good about paying attention to the feedback that you'd been given, and then sort of addressed it or talked about how you would address it, and stuff like that. So when you applied for the position, they could look at you versus, say, another candidate and said, hey, this person, Gestoni, has been really responsive to the feedback he gets, so we can count on him to grow and to learn. So he's probably a better pick for this next move because we want someone who's going to be able to grow into the position. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, sir. So just focus on your feedbacks and work through it. So when you get out there, that is your guide, if I may. Yes, I was like with my mentors and all that, and I would reach out, but then they don't see what you see out there,
right?
If I may, right? You can tell your mentor that I had a bad day. You know, I could reach to Mark if I may. Right? I could reach to Mark if one day like I had a bad day at work, you know that. But Mark wasn't there, right? You were still on your own. So the feedback that was being given to you by your bosses, by your people,
right?
Take that seriously. So just then work through it. Like be consistent. It's not be perfect like the next day.
Right.
No one is asking to be right, like right at that moment to be fixed. Like you just need to be consistent, and then eventually.
But to make sure that you're working through it and working on it.
And then eventually you're not thinking about it, you're doing it.
Yeah, you got it done. That's good. So let me ask you a question. I want to talk about, like, if you could go back into time, right, to when you were a student.
Yes.
What advice would you give yourself?
Stick to yourself. I would say stick to yourself. Do not let anything or anyone to leeway your identity, because you know who you are.
Right.
Do not let that go. Whatever happens, do not let that go. Your priorities right now is your priorities. If you put someone on you, you put something on you, either way, you stick to yourself.
Okay.
Because I know that I had a chance to stick to myself. Right. So regardless on I got married, regardless on the adversities that came through me, I know if I work just a little bit harder, or I just focus on being more consistent about myself, I would have held on to who I was, because I lost myself at some point. I let go of music, you know, and all that stuff. And my priorities was just to take care of my future on building a family. Right. That was my focus already, being a dad. That was my focus already. That's it. I'm done. No more messing around. I'll be a regional learning manager. Right. The plan was to become a stay-home dad. And my ex-wife, if I may, sir, was she's a pilot. She's a pilot. So she's a pilot. She's always gone. So it was a perfect setup.
I see. Right.
I will be at home. Right. And if we have
kids, virtual.
Yes. Right. I'll be a stay-home dad, and she can keep flying. Right. And I was focused on that. But then things didn't work out. Right. We fell apart. Oh no, I'm sorry. We grew apart. Right. Right. And yes, and then I realized that at some point she grew, I didn't, because as a musician, as a person of what I want to, my identity, it's not me being Jay-Z or making it to the Grammys and all that. I know that music is a part of me that I let go. Right. And for some reason, like I ask myself, why do you keep your studio right there in your closet? If you don't really want it anymore, then let it go. Right. So one day I just turned it on, sir, and then that's it.
So you had a studio and you packed it up and you kept it there.
Yes.
So it's really interesting. So one of the things you said really sort of jumped out at me, which is you were talking about, like, don't let go of yourself, right? And then you were talking about how in the end this thing had happened where you realized you hadn't grown, right? But you'd done these things, like you became area manager and you had done this stuff at Amazon and stuff, and so you were growing in a certain way. Yes. But I think it's really interesting because in a sense kind of what you're saying is, if you let go of those things that are core to who you are, that really matter to you, then you don't get to grow in the ways that actually are really important.
Yes.
So it's like holding on to yourself means, like, those parts of you that are key and core, you need to keep nourishing so that they
Yes.
can keep growing.
Exactly.
So that you grow as a whole.
I have
human
three.
being.
I realize I have three pillars, sir,
Yeah.
that I cannot compromise about myself.
Right.
A basketball player, a musician, and a business leader.
Okay.
Those three. Business leader because it's my job. That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Right.
I love it, and I like leading.
Right.
I like leading. I love leading. I love fixing problems. I music because I want to express my emotions, and it's a way for me to hold on to those emotions in a way that it's right there recorded.
Yeah.
And I expressed it, and it's squash. It's done. I
Right.
can get to work done and emotionless, if I may.
Right.
I can go to work ready. Then basketball, because I want to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I want to stay healthy, and it seems like basketball is only a workout that motivates me and keeps me in shape, if
Yeah.
I may. So
Yeah.
those three. If those three are compromised, I'm not me. So every day, being consistent. I focus on those. So that's what I would tell myself.
Right.
There you go. We build an answer.
Yeah.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent about yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Be consistent about yourself. Those three, I always make sure that I make time for them every day. Of course, I put a rest day on me, but
Sure.
that is consistent as well.
As well.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. So, one of the questions that I like to ask is about this work-life balance thing. And I think this kind of really gets to the heart of it,
Yes, sir.
in the sense that there's work, but these other parts of you really matter.
It
And
does.
so you have to, I guess it looks like for a while you completely lost that balance, right? You had a
Yes.
couple things you were focused on more than others. But you decided to go back to the music.
Yes, I
Right.
decided to go back to the
So
music.
tell me about that.
So-
And also like what you're doing with music, because I think that's also really
So
interesting.
it was like I was in that we grew apart, and then one day I was cleaning the closet and I found an Air Jordan 11,
Uh-huh.
a worn out Air Jordan 11, and right next to it is my lyric book,
Huh.
and I was just like, I'm like, what am I doing? So I turned on the studio.
Uh-huh.
And then when I turn on my studio, I'm like, there's a song pending on this file. And then I start playing it. Okay, I like it. And then I open the book, the lyrics open, and I'm like, that is the lyrics. I put a bookmark on it.
Huh.
Like
Wow.
that was like, this book was not open for like 7 years.
Wow.
And then the file that was right there that I was working on, the last one that I was working, it's there.
Right.
And that is the lyrics. And I was just like, dude,
Wow. So you like literally had just like shut it in the middle of something.
yes.
And never touched it again for 7
Yes.
years. Wow.
And then I opened it up and it's there. So I started reaching out. So I started reaching out to, it's okay. Yeah, so I started reaching out to some of my partners, and they're like, yeah, dude, like let's start doing something. So I flew to LA and tried to reconnect with the person that I rap with when I was younger.
Right.
If he has any connections on producers and all that. And then he said that he'll get back to me, and he did. And he had some connections. So I went back to Chicago, and then I met this guy named Thomas in Lander.com. And then he produced one of the pending songs that I have
Right.
in the book. It was Jeepney Girl. And then after that, when I released that, I reached out to an artist in the Philippines. And then before I reach out to an artist, I opened an email from years ago with someone who listened to me on one of my music back in the Philippines.
Right.
And they heard the song, which is Jeepney Girl, just an older version.
Okay.
And then they liked it. So
And Jeepney is
the Jeep,
The-
the bus in the Philippines.
bus in the Philippines, okay.
And this is the younger version of me talking about
Right.
a girl that I saw in the Jeep.
Right.
And they're like sending lyrics for me. Hey, Kuya is a big brother, big brother. Can you review these lyrics for me? And I'm like, oh, I have these emails from years ago that these kids wants me to review their lyrics for them and all that, like real
Right.
quick. So after that, I started reaching out to some artists and see if I still got it. Like,
Right.
can I work with someone? And I reached out to Grad the Great, and for some reason he he replied back, and this kid has millions of views already on his music videos.
Right.
And I was really impressed on his music because it's real. Like, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll reach out to this kid and see. And he reached back and said, let's go do something. And then we recorded Mi Amor. And then after we recorded Mi Amor, that song that we made, and then I flew back to the Philippines to shoot the music videos.
Right.
From there, it just became a process. I was in until now. I was addicted to the consistency of the processor until now. And then at that point, after I recorded those, after I got those music videos completed in the Philippines, it just become a process. It needs to become consistent. I was recording music, I was recording songs, and then I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this correctly in music videos, I cannot be looking like this. I need to be consistent on how I deliver myself to the people, right? If I need to work out, I need to exercise, I need to make sure that I'm healthy. I'm not, like what am I try to sell? You know what I mean? I don't want to sell laziness, I want to sell something.
So you had gotten
working.
when you were in Chicago, and during the 7 years when you close that notebook and shut down the studio, you kind of let yourself go a little bit in areas that matter to you.
Yes, I got. Oh my God, I weighed 230 if I may.
Really? Wow.
I did weigh 230. I did at some point. I just let go.
Wow.
And there's no feedback.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I was letting go. I was letting go.
So that also. So then getting back connected to the music and thinking about what it means. You've got people that are like contacting you and willing to work with you, but you also, you had people contact you and calling you Kuya, so they're treating you like an older brother. So now you feel like I got some responsibility here.
Yes. At some point, I felt like, okay, no, it's not some sort of responsibility, if I miss, but it's some sort of a calling. If I may, I need to jump into this. I need to jump onto it because there's nothing for me right now over here, but it seems like this is working for me. So I know for a fact that I want this for myself, so why not chase it?
Okay.
So I'm like, this is me already, and I'm like, when it comes to this, if I may, I'm the lucky ones, if I may, as a rapper, right? For me, right, I'm not the typical who came from, you know what I mean, like, who was a gangbanger, I wasn't involved in that. It's more in the college side. And me realizing this now, this is me as a rapper, it means something.
Right.
It doesn't mean like it just like it actually means something for me because this is what I do.
Right.
And I'm not after the fame, I'm not after the money. If it comes, yes, thank you.
Right.
I will take it, please. Man, I will take the Rolls Royce, I will take the Rolexes, but now I'm wearing a tag.
Okay.
And I'm good with this. And if it comes, yes, I will take it. But right now, it's just a part of me.
It's just doing it, but for now, it's just doing what you're loving doing and pursuing the opportunities to see what comes of it.
Yes. And do it 100% all the time. Do your best. Although it's just for something that is, I know that will not bring wealth at some point, right? And it's something that I do in make sure that I am me. There you go, sir.
Yeah.
I make sure that I am me every day. Like, shit.
So, so in the email we had talked about, you had said that some of these guys though are like they're reaching out for you for all kinds of advice.
Oh yes,
right?
yes.
So tell me about like I'm just kind of curious about like what it's been like. You went back and who are the people you were talking to and how did they treat you? And they're because these are kids or young people that are in the Philippines, right? And you've been here in the U.S. for a while and stuff. So I don't know if they're curious about what life is here.
Yes, they are.
Like all that. Like what's that like? What's that been like? What's the whole thing been like?
Yes, they've been asking me questions like. I would bring them hats when I go home, like hats, and that's a big thing already. Like in the LA hats and all that, it like costs like $30, $35, and sometimes you will get it $15 and lids, right? So I would bring like a couple of them, just a piece of that, and then you'll have, Kuya, this is from Chicago. How is it? It's cold out there, huh, Kuya? In Chicago, yeah. I always have snows and all that. Yeah, I see you always on Instagram, and then it's amazing because there's this one kid, one of the cameramen. His name is Emil. He gave me his scarf.
Okay.
his scarf.
Oh.
And the last thing that I told him is, you will be with me in the cold. And he said, Kuya, always. And then give me the scarf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then from there, when I got back the first time, they're like, Kuya, I have this date. I have this date right now. Should I wear deodorant or antiperspirant? I'm like, dude, why are you asking me this question? Okay, what are we doing? Okay, what kind of date it is?
Right.
Are you guys gonna go into the movies? Because
Right.
if you're gonna go play basketball with her, we might want to wear antiperspirant, right? You know,
Right.
And now, if you wanna smell good, you gotta go to the movies. You might want to wear deodorant.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, you understand now? Like, cool.
So they're asking you like really basic stuff.
Yes.
Like,
And
like
like,
how old are these?
they're like 19, 18.
Oh, wow,
Some of
okay.
them are 21, 22.
Wow. Okay.
And then I like it because go ahead, because I didn't have that.
Right.
Because I know damn well when I was their age, I
Yeah.
wasn't. I'm probably picking my nose in your class, right? So I'm probably.
I don't remember.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Right?
I know
If I had that, I was like, I'm willing to provide that.
Right.
If those are the questions, okay, cool,
Yeah.
it's fine. And then I'm starting to do this payong kuya and all that stuff. Like I would give them advices.
Yeah.
Then sometimes if there are any trends, if
Yeah.
I may, trends of questions, I
Right.
would post something on my Instagram and just answer it at
I
once.
got it.
Right? If there's any trends, and there are questions right now, yeah, and that's why I went to your podcast as well. The trends are like, how do I balance school with this, with
Right.
music?
Right.
Because some of them are like really, one of them actually is some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are actually in school
Yeah.
and pretty much doing what I'm doing right now,
Right.
which is making music, going to work, then
Right.
going to school.
Right.
And how do they balance that? So,
Yeah.
just like what I said, be consistent.
Yeah.
Do not allow any time to be wasted on what you do. Do not.
Right.
On what you want to do. Like, if you want to play basketball, at least 10 minutes, you'll be happy.
Right.
Trust me. Do some dribbles outside and all that, you'll be
Right.
happy already. You did something for that. You like working out, do 100 sit-ups. One day, it'll take like 2 minutes. Done. You'll be happy with
Right.
that.
So you say it doesn't have to be the full on. You're doing the full on thing,
Yes. Be
but you got to be
consistent.
doing something. Because if
Yeah.
you drop it, it could be 7 years before you pick it up
Yes,
again. Right.
exactly. So be consistent about it, because that 7 years, if I was consistent, who knows?
Right. That's
Who
right.
knows what? Who knows? Who knows what could have happened if I was
Yeah.
consistent, right? Yes, I was married, but I have 15 minutes.
Right.
I have 15. I realized I can write lyrics like quick. Back
Yeah.
then, that was my barrier. I was just like, man, how am I gonna write all these lyrics? You're like, your essays was, I mean, if I'm a professor, your essays were intimidating already. And then me imagining like writing lyrics, and it was intimidating, but no, that wasn't a barrier.
Right.
That wasn't a barrier, because I realized that I can even write essays. I can even, if I wanted to,
Right.
I can do it. You
Right.
taught me how to write essays. Our teachers taught us.
Right.
All these years taught us how to write. Do not be intimidated by essays, by the way. You can do it. I know you can do it. You guys all this have these tools now. Back then, like, I don't know, how 2017 I graduated,
Yeah.
we didn't have all this.
Yeah.
We didn't have all this.
So I feel like
be consistent.
when I was in undergrad, writing essays was a chore. I mean, it was hard because
Yes.
I would like sit there and rack my brains. It was
Yes.
really, I'd get writer's block. It would be really hard to get words on paper. And I think, and I don't know how much of it is just like maturing, but you get to a point where you stop like worrying so much about
Yes.
it. And I would just, now it's just like, I just sit down and just start writing. Right.
Exactly.
And then if it's not good, first time it's almost never good. So I just got to redo it. But at least I have it on paper.
Exactly.
So the process has gotten faster.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if there's a way of getting like people who are, in that 18 to 24 age group to just chill and just start putting
Yes.
stuff down on paper and don't
Exactly.
stress about it.
Exactly. So I've been to studios too, where a producer would tell you, write the hook.
Right.
And that is really difficult, right? The hook.
Right. So you're there in the studio
Write
and
the
you're
hook
saying
in
write
5
the
minutes.
hook.
Write the hook in 5 minutes. Write the hook in 5 minutes. Producer works in. Where's the hook?
Right.
Dude, get the hell out of my studio right now. That's what would they tell you. That's what would tell you. Because just like what you said, Professor, it's not it doesn't have to be perfect. Write something down.
Right.
Then we work towards it.
Right.
Right? Work towards it. Right? Write the hook. Produce. imagine if you do this professionally. I mean, I try to do it professionally,
Yeah.
like to the extent
Yeah.
of 110% always. So I work with those producers, like write the hook.
Right.
Write the hook in 5 minutes.
Right.
Let's finish this song in 20 minutes.
Right.
Let's finish this song in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's go move on to the next one.
Yeah. And the thing is I think if you get that discipline where you teach, you just learn to just like, okay, turn off all those editors that are shutting you down
Yes.
and just get it out. And then you do it. And it may not be, it may be crap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or it may be good or it may be decent, whatever. But it's like, if it was 5 minutes that came out crap, then it's just like, okay, give another 5 minutes, do another one.
Exactly.
Give another 5 minutes, do another one. After an hour, you got 12 hooks.
Yes.
Maybe 11 of them aren't good, and one of them's like, oh, that one's great, because you've done like a lot more, right? And I
Exactly.
think that's another thing that people don't realize, like how valuable just volume is.
Exactly. Volume is.
It's part of that consistency thing, right? It's just like the more you do, the more you're gonna get better. You're gonna get at, and the more that's gonna come out that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. So the practice, if I may, the process.
Yeah.
That is addicting for me right now.
Right.
The process on everything. The process is just playing towards.
So you're enjoying that process,
Yes.
whether it's operations and
fails,
area manager,
yes.
whether it's music,
Yes.
all these other
If
things.
it fails, then we do it again. If
Right.
it fails, we do it again. Then try to tweak it a little bit. If it works, then keep it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the music stuff that you're doing
Yes, sir.
is all stuff that you're doing in the Philippines. Then, are you doing any of it here?
I do it. I do it here as well. So
Okay.
I have some shows lined up.
Right.
Some
yeah.
on the on Pacific Coast Highway. I did
Okay.
one, and the mall over there by I forgot the place. An Old Crow Smokehouse. I know it's a steakhouse.
Okay.
And then I think I did one in the mall. But I got shows lined up already in US too as well, sir.
Nice.
I think I got one in March 14, March 15. I just need to be more
Nice.
March 13 or 14.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have that set up as well. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm doing it simultaneously. It doesn't that shouldn't be a barrier for me right now, sir.
Right.
So right now I saw that like back then there was a barrier. Where do you focus? Philippines or the United States? And right now the internet and everything, that shouldn't be a barrier. There is this kid named Skostakli for the Philippines, and he is pretty much has more plays than Chris Brown at some point, and he got top one. So at that point, I realized that there shouldn't be a barrier. There's a local artist from the Philippines where his song got featured in NBA 2K. So I'm like,
Okay.
all right, so this not should be a barrier.
So it doesn't matter, right? So before you were trying to figure out, do I do it here? Do I do it there? Do I do it here? Do I do it there?
But when it comes to the business side of it, though, you need to be really clear about what is being delivered in the Philippines and what's being delivered over here.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. So you do have to have an understanding of the
Yes.
business implications of the decision,
Yes,
but
sir.
it's not like you have to just choose one.
Yes, sir.
So you're
Exactly.
you're doing both kind of parallel
Yeah.
track.
So you use some sort of DistroKid or
Yeah.
partner with them, right? Or you use, for me, it's TuneCore.
Right.
So you partner with them and make sure what you fill out on those platforms, you read through it.
So can you tell me a little bit more about this, right? So
sir.
you could, one way you could look at what you're doing is the music stuff is a business too, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's just like, so how did you make, some of those connections you had from when you were younger,
Yes, sir.
but then you've had to make more. So I'm really curious, like, how have you made the connections that you need to do? What are some of the tools that you use? Like, how do you learn to understand how to do this process right and the business side of it?
So for me, it was more on understanding who I connect with.
Yeah.
So these kids, they understand what they do as well. So
Okay.
while I was making music, I need to understand that if I'm gonna be part of the group
Right.
with them, I need to release my music because the music that they are doing for me, or the music that we are creating together, I'm pretty sure they don't want it sitting over there, so they want it released as well.
Right.
So I need to understand how Spotify works. I need to understand how YouTube YouTube works and all those stuff on how we release the
So
music.
you had to figure out what the platforms were
Yes.
and what's the optimal way or good
Yes.
ways of using them.
Yeah. So there are one things that I wanna point out, the scams and all that, like
Yeah.
trying to get the algorithms and all that, and then you're gonna have to pay them and all that. Again, trust the process always. Trust the
Yeah.
process, right? Use your platforms. Yes, use TuneCore, use DistroKid and all that. But even so, on that point, you have the control on what you are putting on those platforms, like
Right.
where you're gonna release this music,
Right.
what language is in it,
Right.
is it explicit?
Right.
You need to
Right.
focus on those, like
Right. Whatever the rules
what
are.
age group,
Yeah.
what age groups and all that, right? And again, as an artist, you need to be, that's your responsibility,
Yeah.
right? What if your music is not meant for a 4-year-old, and then a 4-year-old and then up listening it and being able to download it on his
Right.
phone,
Right. Right. And
right?
mom finds out and is pretty upset. Yeah.
Exactly. So those parts you need to pay attention to those, and
Yeah.
then the splits, right? The splits. So make sure you have the right, correct names of the legal names.
Right.
I know you have your rapper name and all that,
Right.
but I remain on my on my first name. Just told
Yeah.
you, sir. So make sure those correct names they have them.
Right.
So as an artist, as a split, that's your responsibility as well.
So that's
So-
part of the legal aspect,
Yes.
and then how any revenue gets divided up and stuff.
Yes, and legal aspect and ethical.
Yeah.
And do it properly.
Right.
I mean, if I may. And I'm not saying that people are not doing it properly, but then if you don't pay attention to what you're pressing entered on,
Right.
that's what you're still signing on.
Right.
You cannot say that you made a mistake on the
Right.
names later
Right.
on,
Right.
right? So make sure that you take pictures, right? Make sure that you put the names like correctly. The title of the song, that happened to me a lot.
Huh.
Like 3 times. Yeah, it happened to me a lot. The title of the song, I need to go back to them and change it
Right.
because I have caps lock on.
Oh.
No, I cannot change it. And
yeah.
now it's like, yeah, and then it was like, I need to change the title of the song and all
Okay.
that. Oh, it's released already on Spotify and all that. You have to take it down. If you have to take out a song, that's bad.
Right.
Because now you have to redo the song, and then because if
And
you
whatever
have,
traffic you got, you lose whatever
Exactly.
that is, and all the
Exactly.
momentum you might have had is gone, and the
Yes.
links to it and stuff. Yeah, that's
so
pain.
I learned from it though. I learned from it. That's
Right.
it. I learned from
Right.
it. I learned from it. But then,
And was all the learning that you got basically just from doing it and talking to people, or
Yes.
did you have any like?
talking to people, watching how they do it,
Yeah.
spending time on video calls with them.
Yeah.
Because understanding that our main studio is in the Philippines, and the studio that I have here is pretty much they trying to work with it and all
Right.
that, or whatever I send them, they try to edit it, and then video calls and understanding what they need
Yeah.
on how they want it set up. It works well for us, and then the music videos and all that, how you dance the cameras and all that, and then I'm just sending my footage, and then
Right.
they can edit it, making it look like I was there, but not really. I was there. So
You have like a green screen and
exactly those setup. And
Yeah.
if I can, I would too as well. But yeah, it has been fun, sir. And what you call it? Yeah.
So, do you want to give out like your Instagram? Or-
No. So again, if I may, I want to give out the process on how to do this.
Okay.
It's really quick. It's really quick. So you record the song, right? You record the song. You make the song. You record the video. Then you release it. You need to release it.
Right.
You need to release it. If anyone out there who is making music as well, I know there's a couple of you guys out there.
Yeah.
And right now, you need to release it. You need to
Right.
release it because you need to get the feedback. If you don't get the feedback, bro, nah, all your work is
Right.
gone. You need to release it.
So releasing it is a really effective way of getting
yes.
feedback.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So nowadays, no one will actually care. You know, it's like, if I may, most of us would want to see how you started
Right.
and how you are now.
Yeah.
Most of us, like most people, most listeners, that's how they want to see it,
Right.
if I may. And even the artists that I work with in the Philippines, that's what they say. If you see their music videos when they started
Right.
and how they look at right now,
Yeah.
it's just an amazing story.
They just get
It's-
better because they're doing it and they're releasing it. What's the volume in terms of like how many songs
Oh,
and
for
stuff? They're
me-
just putting out a lot of stuff. Or?
For me, it became for like 9 months.
Yeah.
I was releasing a music video every week,
Wow, really?
every week, and it become. I released in total 21 music videos
Okay.
last year. 21
Wow.
music videos last year, and an EP. And it's just for me being consistent of
Right.
one song,
Right.
one song every week, one song
Right.
every week. Just being consistent, one song every week. Yeah, I'll go overboard 3 songs, 4
Yeah,
songs.
yeah, okay.
But then being consistent
Right.
on making sure that you are in the studio and being I commit for one song. I
Right.
commit for one song every week. But then of course I will do more, sir.
Right.
But then there's a week that I would do one song.
Yeah.
But then I did that song.
Right.
And I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But then yeah, be consistent.
Huh.
Be consistent. Be consistent. That's what I'm at. Like, be consistent, and it will do wonders. It will do wonders. Be consistent. Do
Right.
wonders. I'm not rich. I'm not rich. I'm not rich, but I make sure I spend my money consistently.
Right.
Consistently. I like clothes.
Yeah.
I like clothes. I can't fight that.
Yeah.
I can't fight that. I'll shop once a month. Consistently. Consistently.
So you're consistent on
Yes,
that too.
yes.
So basically 4 songs. You got to do 4 songs in
Yes.
order to go shopping.
Yes, yes. I mean, control your habits too.
Right.
Control your
Obviously.
habits too. Control your habits too. Control your habits. And yeah, there's.
So you're going to the Philippines. You said in a few weeks, right?
No, in June.
In June.
In June, sorry.
Okay,
In June.
okay.
I'm going to June.
So how frequently do you go? And when you go, you're recording and meeting, musicians and stuff. And
twice a month. Twice a year. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Twice a year. I go twice a year, and then I'm trying to shoot one today. I'm just trying to shoot for one trip for this year,
okay,
but then I'll be there for a couple of months. If I may.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do. If I
Yeah.
can, if work would allow that.
I was gonna say, how does that work with work? Is
Yeah,
it because
if I have enough hours on
right?
vacation and if someone can cover, then
Okay,
that'll be no problem. And I'm pretty sure I can, again, be consistent on your connection so you can have like, hey, dude, remember this one
Right.
day that you covered for me and
Yeah.
I covered for you, dude? Can you cover for me for this month
Right.
and all that?
so part of that is
Yes.
you're keeping good connections with the people at
Yes.
work,
Yes.
and you're delivering value at work. So when
Yes.
you need something like, hey, I'm gonna take this much time off, and
Yes.
you've built up up your
Exactly.
PTO or whatever, everyone's like, sure, just Tony, I'll cover for you this, I'll cover for you for that.
Yes.
You got enough hours, we'll make it work. The manager's like, of course,
Exactly.
we want to keep you happy because we like the work you do.
Exactly. So it's not always about your employer and all that. Like, dude, you need to be consistent on your own as well.
Right.
You know, like you know that you got your plans and all that, right? You got. If I may just take ownership on what you need to do for yourself and
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
do it.
that's really great.
How about it, sir?
So, aside from like just the work that you're doing with, producing music, both here in the Philippines, keeping the day job going and
Mhm.
being strong in that as the area manager, any other plans, or is this pretty much it? You're just going to dedicate to focus on these things.
This is it. I'm not. This is me growing, or
Right.
this is me actually growing. At 36, sir, I didn't even me expect saying that. At 36,
Right.
this is me growing still. This is me still growing. It's like what I said. I'm not rich. Money comes in, the record deal and all that Grammys comes through. That is just, thank you. I'll take it. But right now I'm working.
Right.
I got a regular job. I'm happy with what I do.
Yeah.
If I get promoted, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. But right now, this is me growing. And one of the questions that I really want to answer is how do I count my success?
That's what I was going to ask you next. Like,
How
how
do
do you
I
define
count-
success? How do you
how do I
count it?
define
What does it
my
mean for you?
success?
Yep. What does it mean for you?
For me, sir, it's not even the money. It's
Right.
not even my title at work. It's not even how many plays I have in music and all that. Knowing that I got better, at some point, knowing that I got better at work, knowing there's a problem and I fixed it faster than yesterday, knowing that there was a jam on the belt and yesterday I fixed it in 10 minutes, but today I fixed it in 9 minutes.
Right.
That's a big win for me. It's a
Yeah.
big win for me. I count myself and on that expectation. Oh, my team was performing on this level yesterday, but today they perform on this level just an inch. Dude, tomorrow will be better if I just keep doing
Right,
this. If I
right.
just keep doing this. Oh, this song was, okay, this song didn't got that much of plays because of this part. They are cutting on this part of the song.
Yeah.
So what am I doing wrong on this part of the song?
Right.
I understood that. Dude, that is a win for me. That is a win for me. Now I understood that. Now next time I don't need to do that. I don't do that next time. Don't do that next time. How do I count my success? Is through the feedbacks that I fix, sir.
Yeah.
And be consistent about it. And through the feedbacks that I fix, that's how I count my success. Through the feedbacks that I fix. I don't care if it's work. I don't care if it's from music. I don't care if it's from basketball or those 3 pillars that I talked about.
Yeah.
How many feedbacks that I fix from my self-awareness, on my self-growth, on those feedbacks I fixed today. If someone give me a feedback, I shut everything down. Cool, got it.
Right.
I worked through it. I got you. All right. I might not have an answer right now, but circle back at lunchtime. Hey, boss, I know we missed that package, right? So this is what happened. That guy right there, blah, 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 yada, he did this, he did that. So next time, what I'm going to do, before I do this is what I'm going to do and make sure that he's supported.
Right.
If I don't do it, that's my word.
Right.
Now, that's what, be consistent.
Yeah. So it's that, but it is that thing where improving stuff, fixing stuff, getting better, every opportunity that you have to improve, taking it and running with it. So for you, that's success, right?
That's my success.
It's not about, hey, this is the point that I have to get to, and that getting to that point is success. It's that wherever I am, everything I'm doing, I'm tweaking everything I can to just make it a little bit better, And wherever I get to, I'll get to. And it'll probably be past that point.
And then once in a while, I would step back
and
see what I have.
Yeah.
And I was driving a Honda Civic, sir.
Uh-huh.
I'm driving a Beamer now. I would step back. I would just step back. I had a G-Shock. I had a Tag-Heuer now. And I was like, sometimes I would step back and it's working.
Right.
It's just be consistent. Save your money and all that, and keep your head down. Stay away from trouble.
Right.
Don't do anything that you're not supposed to do.
Right.
You know, like listen to the feedbacks. Listen to the feedbacks. Do not take it as you're about to get in trouble at work. Listen to the feedbacks and work through it, and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. That's what I would say. Like, be cautious about who you are. Hold on to it. Take on the feedbacks. Don't be afraid of them.
Right.
Work through it, and you'll be all right. Yeah. And then, once in a while, be consistent. Focus on the small stuff. Every day, grow. Grow every day at some point. And then, once in a while, step back. Step back. See what you have. And then go back at it.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. That's really great, Gestoni. Thank you. So, thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it. This is I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, sir. Me too. Likewise, sir. Likewise. Me walking from CBA, I made sure I parked from CBA.
Yeah.
I took it in. You know that gap right there? That gap right there by the sea. Where you go to the... Whatchamacallit? You guys know what I'm talking about, all the students here. That gap right there, right behind the CSULB, the new logo. By the fountain?
Yeah. That
I don't understand, right? Why do you guys go through that small gap? And
right. There's the big concrete marble thing, and you got to choose, am I going through this little gap or that little
gap? And I went through it right now, and there's a lot of scratch mark on it. And I'm like, I remember scratching my shoulder on this. Yeah. And I'm like, these guys are still using it. So I stood there for like a couple of minutes and served.
So every time I walk up there, I'm always like, why did they? This thing doesn't make any sense at all.
I was about to take a picture and see what. But yes, I enjoyed this visit at school, sir, if I may.
I'm really glad you came back, and it's been fantastic talking to you after all these years.
Yes, sir. It's likewise, Professor. Likewise. Likewise, it's really refreshing to be on a seat that I'm not being instructed by you if I'm anymore. It's really refreshing.
I'm glad I was able to provide you with that opportunity. Yes, okay, Gestoni, thank you so very much.
No, thank you so much for everything that you taught us. I mean, I'm one of those students that I would not say that I am. No, I'm not, because Professor knows that I really don't actually butter up to my teachers, but then thank you so much for everyone, not only you, sir. Only for every professor that I have in Long Beach State. Thank you so much. I know that I wasn't that good of a student, if I may, but I did try, and what matters the most is I remember all your teachings, if I may.
All right. Thank you so much, Gestoni. It's been really fun.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for joining us today at Beyond the Beach. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider subscribing on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for those of you who want to go the extra mile, leave a review or comment. I would love to hear from you.